Welcome, dear learners, to Learning Corner, your dedicated portal to unlock the powers of your mind. Today, we are embarking on a fascinating journey. A journey to conquer the most elusive yet powerful tool we possess, our memory. In this video, we will explore, understand, and master some of the most effective memorization techniques that have the potential to revolutionize your learning process. Whether you're a student, a professional, or simply a lifelong learner, these methods will empower you to remember more in less time, with less struggle. So, are you ready to turn the tide in your favor and master your memory? Let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos like this one. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the amount of information you're expected to remember? It's a common challenge, a struggle shared by many. In our rapidly evolving world, the demand to retain a wealth of knowledge is ever present. From the intricate details of your latest work project to the vast array of facts and figures that make up our everyday lives, the task can seem daunting. This struggle isn't confined to our professional lives, it finds its way into our personal spheres too. You might be trying to remember the names of people you've just met, important dates, or even the shopping list you left at home. The impact of this challenge is all-encompassing, touching every facet of our existence. Yet it's crucial to remember that you're not alone in this struggle. Many are in the same boat, paddling through an ocean of information. But what if there were techniques to help you memorize information more effectively? Firstly, let's delve into the technique known as chunking. This is a strategy that our brains naturally employ to manage and process information more efficiently. It works by breaking down complex pieces of information into smaller, more manageable chunks. This makes it much easier for our brains to process, store, and recall the information when we need it. Think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to remember a long string of numbers, say, for a phone number. It's much easier to remember the number if you break it down into smaller parts, right? Instead of trying to remember 10 individual digits, you remember 3 chunks of numbers. This is chunking at work, but chunking isn't just for numbers. It can be used for any type of information. For instance, if you're studying for a history exam, you might chunk information by historical periods or events. Instead of trying to remember each individual fact, you can remember a group of related facts. This not only helps you to remember the information, but it also helps you to understand the bigger picture and see how different pieces of information are related. Let's take another example. Suppose you're trying to learn a new language and you have a list of vocabulary words to memorize. Instead of trying to remember each word individually, you could group words by their meanings or themes. For example, you could group all the words related to food together, all the words related to travel together, and so on. This way, you're not just memorizing words, you're also creating a mental map of how these words are related, which will help you remember them better. So the next time you're faced with a large amount of information, remember to chunk it into smaller, manageable pieces. Not only will this help you to remember the information, but it will also help you to understand it better. Remember, our brains are designed to handle information in chunks, so use this to your advantage. Chunking. It's a simple, powerful tool for improving your memory. Another powerful memorization technique is the method of loci. Sometimes our minds can feel like a chaotic marketplace, with thoughts and memories jostling for attention. How can we bring order to this chaos? Enter the method of loci, a memory-enhancing strategy with roots in ancient Greek civilization. This method turns the abstract into the tangible, making it easier for us to navigate and retrieve information. The method of loci, also known as the memory palace technique, was used by ancient orators to remember speeches. The idea is to mentally walk through a familiar location, such as your childhood home, and associate each point in that location with a piece of information you want to remember. Each room, each piece of furniture, each corner can serve as a locus or place for a specific memory. Now, let's say you're studying for an exam, and you want to remember the key points of a complex theory. You could associate each point with a different object in your home. The theory's first point could be linked to your front door, the second to the living room couch, the third to the dining table, and so on. When you need to recall the information, you simply take a mental walk through your home, stopping at each object and retrieving the linked piece of information. The method of loci brings a spatial and visual dimension to memorization, making it a powerful tool for anyone who struggles with abstract concepts. It's like turning your mind into a well-organized library, where every book has a designated spot on the shelf. This technique isn't just for academics. It can also be used to remember grocery lists, to-do tasks, names at a networking event, and much more. It's a versatile tool that can be adapted to suit your needs. The method of loci is more than just a memory trick. It's a way to harness the power of your mind, to transform the abstract into the concrete, and to create order in the midst of chaos. It's a testament to the remarkable capabilities of the human brain. With the method of loci, you can turn any space into a memory palace. Now, let's discuss a technique you may have come across in school: mnemonics. Mnemonics are memory devices that help you remember complex information. They are like mental shortcuts, helping you to store data in a fun and imaginative way. The beauty of mnemonics lies in their simplicity and flexibility. They can be visual, verbal, musical, or even physical cues that trigger your memory. Let's dive into some popular examples of mnemonics. You may remember the acronym HOMES to recall the names of the Great Lakes: Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. Or perhaps you used the rhyme 30 days hath September, April, June, and November to remember the number of days in each month. These are all examples of mnemonics. Mnemonic devices aren't just limited to acronyms and rhymes. They can also be sentences where the first letter of each word corresponds to the first letter of the information you're trying to remember. For example, to remember the order of operations in mathematics, you might use the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. And what's fantastic about mnemonics is that you can create your own tailored to your unique thought patterns. Let's say you're trying to remember a list of groceries: eggs, milk, bread, bananas, and coffee. You might create a story where every morning Bob bakes cakes. The first letter of each word corresponds to the first letter of the items on your list. Mnemonics are also great when studying complex concepts. For instance, if you're learning about the solar system, you could create a mnemonic sentence to remember the order of the planets. "My very eager mother just served us noodles" stands for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Mnemonics are a powerful memory tool because they transform abstract information into something concrete and relatable. They make the mundane memorable, the complicated simple. Mnemonics can turn the most complex information into something fun and easy to remember. By incorporating mnemonics into your learning routine, you're not just memorizing information, you're understanding it. And that's the key to long-lasting memory. Last but not least, let's not forget the role of repetition in memorization. Repetition, though it may feel redundant at times, is a powerful tool in the memory toolbox. Why is that? Well, when we're exposed to information repeatedly, our brains have more opportunities to encode that data into our long-term memory. Imagine your memory as a field of grass. Each time you walk the same path, you're flattening the grass, making it easier to tread the next time. Similarly, every time you revisit a piece of information, you're strengthening the neural pathway in your brain that leads to that memory. But it's not just about mindlessly repeating information. It's about strategically spacing out repetitions, a method known as spaced repetition. This technique involves reviewing information at increasing intervals over time, which research shows can significantly improve recall. So the next time you need to memorize something, don't shy away from repetition. Embrace it. After all, repetition is the mother of learning. So, let's recap the techniques we've learned today. Our journey into the world of memorization began with the recognition of our common struggle, the difficulty of remembering vast amounts of information, be it names, theories, or facts. But as we've seen, there are methods to make this task less daunting. We first explored the power of chunking, a technique that involves breaking down complex information into smaller, manageable parts. By grouping information into chunks, we can effectively increase the capacity of our working memory, making it far easier to recall larger sets of data. Think of it as organizing a messy room into neat labeled boxes. Next, we delved into the ancient but still relevant method of loci. This technique leverages our spatial memory by associating the information we want to remember with specific locations in a mental memory palace. It's like walking through a familiar place, where each room holds a different piece of information. Then we looked at the power of mnemonics. These are memory aids that use patterns of letters, ideas, or associations to help us remember information. It's like creating a catchy song or a vivid image that sticks in your mind, making the information unforgettable. Finally, we discussed the role of repetition in memory retention. While it may seem like the simplest technique, it is not to be underestimated. Regularly reviewing and repeating the information we want to retain strengthens the neural connections in our brain, making the memory more durable over time. It's like treading a path over and over until it becomes a well-worn trail. As we've seen, these techniques are not standalone solutions, but can be combined in various ways to suit your personal learning style. They are tools in your cognitive toolkit, ready to be deployed when faced with the challenge of memorization. With these techniques at your disposal, the struggle with memorization can become a thing of the past. Happy memorizing!